Let me start this video off by saying that VAR could kiss my Arsenal and it can suck my Timo Pukki because it's just terrible, man. It's terrible. Seriously, it's taken the joy out of football. I could recall the times when, a goal was scored, a suspect goal, and you have something to talk about after the game. But now you have nothing to talk about. All you have to talk about is VAR and whether it should be there or it shouldn't be there, or whether it's perfect or whether it has flaws. It's like, I don't really know what to say about VAR right now. Seriously. When you're on the receiving end of VAR, it feels really bad. But when it's going for you, it must be a good feeling, because Spurs must feel good right now after picking up a point that I think they did not deserve at all. They didn't deserve anything from that game. Their performance was subpar. In his post-match interview, Pep Guardiola criticized VAR. He answered the questions very smartly. He didn't want to implicate himself in any way, and he spoke about last season when the ball came off of Llorente's hand and it ended up in the back of the net. Somehow that wasn't reviewed. You know what I'm saying? Or it wasn't overturned. But in this case, the ball unintentionally came off of Laporte's arm, found its way to Gabriel Jesus, and he put it in the back of the net. I don't think that helped Gabriel Jesus in any way. Laporte didn't do it on purpose. It was just a scuffle between him and the Tottenham player. The ball ended up hitting Laporte's arm. That's if it even hit his arm. I don't know. We would not have known that maybe until the match was done and they were showing replays or whatnot, or someone took a still. But with VAR, everything is being checked and it just takes the joy out of the game. And I heard the pundits were saying that behind them there were season ticket holders and they were celebrating. They were going crazy when the goal was scored. And then when VAR came up on the screen and it said no goal, about 500 people immediately just walked out and they say they're done with this. They want to be done with football like right now, because it takes the joy out of you. Just imagine, guys, you apply for a job. I'm going to use a job as an example. I know there could be a lot more examples, but you apply for your dream job. They call you back. They say, hey, man, you got the job. You're excited. You call up your girl. You call up your boyfriend or whoever, whatever you're into. You tell your mom. You tell your dad. You tell your granny. If you have kids, you're excited. You're excited. And then after that, they call you back and say, you know what? We just reviewed your application and we noticed you checked off a certain box and we can't hire you anymore. And you're like, oh my goodness, that's how it feels. Because today, when Gabriel Jesus scored, I was so pumped, man. I was so pumped. I was at work and I was in the pickup at work and I was like, yeah! I know we were going to come back and win this game. But a few seconds later, that had to be subdued. And it's a very, very bad feeling. It's a sinking feeling that you don't want to experience. And it will haunt you. If you're not a City fan and you're watching this, it will definitely come to haunt you. Sooner rather than later, it will come to haunt you. There was a similar situation last week with the Wolves and Leicester match. I didn't really know too much about that, but that was mentioned and then it happened again. Last week, VAR affected our match. Despite us winning the game 5-0, there was quite a few situations where VAR overturned a few goals. So, oh man, we are getting the shorter end of the stick when it comes to VAR. Definitely, it's not working in our favor at all. I just can't wait until it works in our favor. You know what I'm saying? I really can't wait when it starts working for us. They need to do something though. VAR needs to be tweaked. The laws need to be tweaked. They just changed the law. The handball law in the Premier League, they just changed it. It was just changed. Last season, that would have been a goal. This season, it's not a goal. The match ended 2-2. Spurs walk away with an undeserved 1 point. Mike Oliver was the referee in this game, and he will definitely come under some criticism because I think these referees are choosing what they review and what they don't review, because there was an instance where Rodri was brought on in the box and it wasn't reviewed. That's the thing I don't like about VAR. If you're gonna review, just review everything, man. Just review everything, and there must be some type of transparency. We as fans deserve this, because without us, there will be no football. When you think about it, the players are playing for us, for our entertainment. That's why they're playing. They're not just playing for themselves, they're playing to entertain us. So why don't we deserve better? Why don't we deserve better? You know what I think? They should just get rid of this VAR altogether and say, you know what, man? It was an experiment. Just let's do away with it. Let's just go back to the old times, go back to human era, and let's enjoy this game. It's becoming a bit too robotic. Seriously, it's like you want to make things perfect. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. You know, in those type of movies where, you know, in the world it's like perfect, everything is perfect, something always gets screwed up. You know what I'm saying? So I think they should just do away with this VAR thing and just stop with this whole, you know what I mean? They should just get rid of it. They should just get rid of it. And not because it's my team that's being affected. We don't have anything to talk about. You know what I'm saying? We don't have nothing to talk about. We can't say, listen, man, that was not even a goal because it hit his arm, and you could be like, yo, it didn't hit his arm, da da da. And we have stuff to argue about. But VAR, man, frustrating, I'm telling you. But despite the whole VAR fiasco, guys, we should have won this game. We should have won this game. 30 shots at goal, only 10 on target, 2 in the back of the net. We should have won this game. Tottenham, 3 shots at goal, I think, 2 on target, 2 goals. They pick up a point. They did not deserve to pick up a point. We had most of the possession. We completed more passes. We should have won this game. The VAR thing should have just been, you know, something trivial that we would have been talking about right now. But it's, you know, it's the headline. It is the headline. We should have won the freaking game. But let me calm down and talk about the game, man. Let me talk about the game. For Man City, Pep Guardiola went in with a 4-3-3 formation as usual. And as I talk about the lineup, I'm going to let you know how I think each player performed in the game. Ederson in goal. Ederson, man, you deserve some licks. Seriously. You are a bit too adventurous at times. You have to read the game better than that. You definitely have to do better than that. What the hell are you doing so far off your line when the ball is coming down so fast? Like, why? I don't get it. I really don't get it. Why are you off your line? Tottenham building up play. Ederson, stay on your line. Stay on your line. Let the defenders do what they are paid to do. Defend. You stay on your line. Do what you have to do. Keep goal. Okay? Stay in the goal. Why is he out on the penalty spot? Why? Eric Lamela, very intelligent play. He was set up by Tanguy and Ndombele, and he just took his chance. He saw Ederson off the line. He used Laporte as a shield, and he just bended around Laporte, put it past Ederson, and they were back in the game. They were back in the game. By then, we were already scored, and they were back in the game immediately. Ederson, man, I'm not pleased with this. I think you're getting beaten too easily on too many occasions, and you're making some really silly mistakes. Bad decision making. Definitely. Positioning, poor. Let us move on. Otamendi. I think Otamendi had a solid game. I don't have much to criticize Otamendi on, but he is also part of a defense that needs to do much better. Laporte as well, same boat. Kyle Walker, I think, had another great game. He made some really good overlapping runs, and he is definitely contributing more going forward. But Kyle Walker, we need you in the defense. That's where we need you. You are a defender. We need you to help out more in defense. And, you know, I'm not being harsh, but we conceded 2 goals that we should have never conceded. So, Kyle Walker, you are part of that defense that conceded the goals, and you have to come in for some criticism. Left back. I think it's time we do away with this Zinchenko experiment. Zinchenko is a nice lad and all, but he is not a left back. He is a midfielder. He is not someone I think should even start in the City team. He should be coming off the bench. But Pep Guardiola persists in playing him at left back. There's Angelino on the bench. There's João Cancelo on the bench. Play one of these guys. Play one of these guys, because I think Zinchenko is getting run past way too easily. And going forward, I don't think he is providing enough impetus. That's just what I think. He is not a defender, and with him being a part of the defense, it significantly weakens our defense. City's defense was poor in the game. We should have never conceded a single goal with 3 shots taken. 3 or 4. Never ever we should have conceded a goal. Rodri in the holding midfield position, I think he had a really good game. He helped out in defense at times. He passed the ball around really well, and he even got a few shots off at goal. Rodri didn't put a foot wrong in this game, but he is, you know, part of the team that drop points, and he also has to come under some criticism, because I know if Fernandinho was in this team, that ball may have never came to Lamela. You know what I'm saying? When you really think about it. So Rodri and all these guys, they have to stay switched on. Gundogan, man. Gundogan could be frustrating at times, and at other times he could be very brilliant. He's a really good player, but I think he did not have the best of games today. Had a sweet ball to put past Lloris, and he put it wide. If all those chances were taken, I would have been in better spirits right now. So I think Gundogan did not have the best of games. And another thing I have to question is Pep's rotation policy so early in the season. Like, we only played 1 game against West Ham United. Why not David Silva again? Why bring in Gundogan? Like, come on. You're trying to please everybody. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to make everybody happy, right? That's what it seems. That is exactly what it seems. I would have preferred Bernardo Silva in the middle than Gundogan, seriously. But you change a winning combination, and this is what happens. Kevin De Bruyne, man, I think he was the best player on the day. He tormented Tottenham. He schooled Tottenham, and he was on fire today, pulling off 2 assists in the game, and he had quite a few shots off at goal. I think Kevin De Bruyne should have scored a goal of his own. He also have to come under some criticism for not scoring as well, because we needed goals. It's proved that at the end we needed more goals, and we had 30 shots. Unacceptable. 30 shots, 2 goals. Tottenham, 3 shots, 2 goals. It's just unacceptable. The performance was unacceptable against a very subpar Tottenham Hotspur, who took their best chances and picked up 1 point. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the season, if we do end up losing by 2 points, or end up being 2 points behind Liverpool, we could rue this game. We can definitely rue this game. Because the table isn't going to say, oh, you played well against Tottenham and you deserve more points. No, it's going to say you only picked up 1 point at home against Tottenham and you conceded 2 goals. That's what it's going to say. You give up the lead twice in the game. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so we need to do better than this. Bernardo Silva in this game, man, he was brilliant. He was involved in both the goals. The build-up play to the goals, it was Bernardo Silva passing the ball to De Bruyne and him squaring it over to Aguero and Raheem Sterling. So Bernardo, he had a really good game, bamboozled the Tottenham defenders and everything, passed the ball very well. He did not put a foot wrong, but also, Bernardo could have scored a goal. You know, he had a few shots off at goal as well, if I could recall. Aguero. Oh, man. He had a mixed bag of a game. Aguero. He got into a big spat with Pep Guardiola when he was taken off. He did score the 2nd goal, but the talking point here has to be when he was subbed off for Gabriel Jesus, and him and Pep got into it. Pep maybe had to tell him something about, you know, a good game, whatever he had to tell him, or whatever criticism he had for him in the game. Aguero, as a player, I don't know what went on there, but he wasn't having any of it. He definitely wasn't. He was talking back at Pep Guardiola. They had to say, hey, what's going on? They had to pull back Pep. Aguero stormed off, went to sit down, and it was ugly. It was definitely ugly. And all that was going on, the game was still level and all. It wasn't nice. It wasn't nice at all. I actually think this might be Aguero's last season as a Manchester City player. It has always been rumored that him and Guardiola does not get along, and Guardiola prefers Gabriel Jesus over Aguero. So now it's coming to light. The player and manager were then seen making up after Gabriel Jesus scored the winning goal. But then, that was cut short because the goal was overturned. But it's good that they patched things up and we could now move on. Or will we move on? Will we move on? Guys, I think this is Aguero's last season as a Manchester City player. I could definitely see him going back to Atletico Madrid. Raheem Sterling, he scored another goal, picking up his 5th goal this season, scoring in the Community Shield, a hat-trick in the opening match against West Ham, and now again against Tottenham Hotspur. What a great start to the season for Raheem Sterling, and he is definitely teasing to be a world-class player. But guys, it's still 1 point we picked up. Sterling, he had numerous opportunities to score again, didn't score, only 1 goal he scored. Still a really good goal, massive goal in terms of the game and all, because if he didn't score, maybe we would have lost the game. But guys, we have to take our chances. We definitely have to take our chances. For the substitutes, David Silva came off the bench, little to no effect on the game. Riyad Mahrez, I think, had a poor spell when he came on. Tanguy Ndombele had his number on quite a few occasions. And then Gabriel Jesus, I think he did a very good job coming on. He scored the disallowed goal. All in all, it was a good performance by Man City. Don't get me wrong, it was a good performance. But in terms of Manchester City standards, it was a bit subpar. Definitely subpar. We should have scored 4 or 5 goals today against Tottenham. The headline should have read, Tottenham Hotspur blown away at the Etihad Stadium despite VAR intervening. Or VAR intervention couldn't prevent a Tottenham Hotspur beatdown. Something like that. But now look at what we got to deal with. Everyone is definitely happy that we drop points, They're happy that we drop points. A draw for City is like a loss. It's seen as a loss. That's how crazy it is. It's seen as a loss. We lost the game. I think we lost this game. As for Mauricio Pochettino and Spurs, man, they weren't good. They weren't good today. They were not good today. Similar to their first half against Aston Villa, they weren't good. Lloris in goal. He was very good today. Despite conceding twice, he had nothing to do with that. Nothing at all. It was just brilliance by Kevin De Bruyne and Raheem Sterling, Sergio Aguero on the end of those goals. But Lloris came up big on many more occasions as 10 shots on target, 2 went in. It means that 8 of those shots he prevented from going into the back of the net. So I think Lloris deserves a lot of credit for keeping Tottenham in the game. Davinson Sanchez had a good game. Alderweireld, I think, was okay, but Davinson Sanchez, I could remember he played his heart out and he won back a lot of balls and he played very well for Tottenham today. Kyle Walker-Peters, I think, had an okay game. I could remember him putting his body on the line, blocking a shot from Raheem Sterling very early. And I think he handled himself well throughout the match. But I can't say the same for Danny Rose at left back because Kevin De Bruyne's 2 crosses and Bernardo Silva over there, they tormented Rose. He did not have the best of games. Harry Winks as the number 6, I really don't understand the purpose of Harry Winks. I don't rate Harry Winks that highly. That's why Pochettino has subbed him off first in the last 2 games. He is very ineffective. Tanguy Ndombele, I think he is one of the best signings made in the English Premier League in the summer transfer window by far. Picking up an assist after that wonder goal on debut. Well played, Ndombele, and what he did to Riyad Mahrez late in the game was testament of that. Eric Lamela picking up that goal, his first for a very long time. He is also in the positive. Moussa Sissoko, hard-working player, man. I must give credit to Sissoko. He worked hard in the game. He did not have the greatest of games, but Sissoko, he worked hard and he roughed up the City players. Christian Eriksen, I think, had a poor game. He had a poor game. It was a big contrast to what he did against Aston Villa. He was largely absent for most of the game. And the same could be said for Harry Kane, who did not get a single proper shot off at goal. The only shot Harry Kane got off was from the middle of the field when he tried to beat Ederson, who was a bit off his line. And that ball went way out. And That was not even a shot. So Harry Kane, he had a very poor game. As for the subs, Ollie Skip and Giovanni Lo Celso, they didn't even have much to do in the game, but it was Lucas Moura who came off the bench to great effect to score that goal within 30 seconds, making him the fastest Premier League goal scorer since 2014 when Sami Amiobi did it for Newcastle against Tottenham Hotspur. So that's a fun fact for you. So Lucas Moura once again is telling Maurizio Pochettino, you have to start me. You started me last week. You got to start me every single time. I have to start for Spurs. Remember, guys, he was the man responsible for taking them to the Champions League final. And then when he got to the final, he didn't even start and they lost. So that's a clear message sent by Lucas Moura. But we should have never conceded those 2 goals. We should have never conceded the goals. The Lucas Moura goal, it was poor defending. We did not mark Lucas Moura properly. Look at how short this guy is and how is he getting on the end of a corner. How is it happening? Do we have defenders? Do we even have defenders? Like it was a poor defensive showing by City. We should have not have conceded those 2 goals. We should have won this game 4-0, and we should have blown Spurs away. But the big talking point here is still VAR. We should have won this freaking game. We should have won this game. I still think we should have won this game. We do not deserve to pick up 1 point from this game. But in reality, VAR is there. We have to deal with it. We can't do anything about it. And we picked up 1 point. And in the end, we deserved the freaking point because we should have scored the goals when we had the chance to do so. City's next 2 games will be against Bournemouth and Brighton. 2 easier games. We should blow these teams out of the park. But you never know with VAR and the way we are not putting the balls in the back of the net. But I think we should beat these teams. For Tottenham Hotspur, they play Newcastle and Arsenal. The Arsenal game will be one to look forward to. And Newcastle could go winless in 3 because Spurs, I think, should beat Newcastle. But all in all, guys, I'm totally disappointed by this result. Totally distraught by this result. It feels like a loss. We are dropping points very, very early. Liverpool, they won their game against Southampton. It wasn't a good performance by Liverpool, but they still ended up winning the game. And we are behind. We are behind early, and they now have the psychological advantage going forward. Remember, I do think it's a Liverpool-City race once again, even though the season has just started. But a lot of people do think that Tottenham Hotspur has a chance to win the Premier League this season. But guys, I'm your boy Dominic Rich. That's enough, man. This is more of a rant than a review because I had so many things written down that I wanted to talk about, but it makes no sense going into these things because we picked up a negative result today. Negative. We should have beaten Spurs. Last year in the Premier League, we beaten Spurs, even though they knocked us out the Champions League. This is a team that we know how to beat, and we should have never picked up a draw today. We need to do better going forward. We have to do better going forward. Pep Guardiola, I do not agree with your selection policy right now and the rotation policy you got going on. I know all the players are very, very good, but you have to stick to the winning 11 and make the substitutions according to the, the whole feel of the game. But guys, I'm your boy Dominic Rich. If you're new around here, consider hitting the subscribe button, smash the thumbs up button, and in the comment section down below, let me know what you think about the game. Peace out, man. Peace out.